Chapter 128. When I first took a right to Site 4, my fellow Templars never bound my hands or gagged my mouth, only blindfolded me for purely security-related reasons. It's funny how, now that I'm tied up and gagged like an actual prisoner, I somehow seem to be treated with less suspicion. Apologies for the rough handling, Inquisitor, one of the army officers grunts at me. It's just protocol. I used to know what the fancy symbols embroidered onto his breast meant, but I forgot that shit days after testing to confirm I memorized the knowledge. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The apology is welcome, but unnecessary. I just escaped a top-secret animancy containment facility that got taken over by the prisoners. I sure hope everyone handles me per protocol. I was walking around with ours for fuck's sake. For all I know I am some kind of sleeper agent. I can't say any of this with a gag in my mouth, of course, so I just shrug and nod politely, signaling my understanding. He nods back. Social interaction successful, no words needed. It's generally a major downside, but sometimes I have to appreciate my talent's ability to be incredibly distracting. I just watched my pregnant coworker die because of a stupid stunt I pulled, after all. But that's okay, I can just drown my consciousness in the sound of vendors yelling at passers-by, the smell of bodies packed in busy streets, the feeling of heat fluctuating as we walk by other people. I can glance at someone and immerse myself in their tells, crafting a story about their life from vague pieces of information that I've trained myself to pick out. I can forget, just for a moment, why tears are soaking the front of my face. I can forget that look of utter betrayal as 3 more innocent Templars die under my watch, the unspeakable tragedy of a girl murdering because she knows no other option. I was too late to give her one. I'm escorted to the closest major church grounds where, to no one's surprise, members of the Inquisition are already waiting for me. 3 of them, in fact, 2 men and 1 woman, judging by the smell. Which is to say I can tell one of them is going to be on her period for a few days. One of the men, who happens to be an Inquisitor captain, still has the scent of masturbation on him. It lasts a long time, and the third is starting to stretch the fabric of his underclothes because he finds me attractive. Yeah, the easiest ways I have to figure out a person's sex from smell alone are pretty damn awkward. I could have puzzled it out from other clues, but some aspect of human nature always makes me zero in on those, even though my talent makes the very idea of sex terrifyingly unpalatable. Thus, the most notable between the 3 and also most uncomfortable is the erection. That isn't a reaction I get very often, so it's pretty damn embarrassing. It's especially weird for it to happen on first sight, too, which informs me that he's likely pretty young. Which sucks. Why would there be an Inquisitor so early into puberty? That's just sad. I nod politely to them all, but only the boy nods back. HRM. No love for fellow sinners, huh? Wordlessly, they surround me and guide me down into the bowels of the church, through lower areas I'd been forbidden to tread before I got black trim on my now broken armor. Inquisitors only. This is where I was taught to damn myself for the greater good, where I learned the 2 animancy spells I know before getting shipped off to Site 4 without so much as a briefing. I'm taken to a cell like room, holding only a single chair that's built firmly into the floor. I'm shoved into it, my already bound arms are tied to the back, and the gag is finally ripped out of my mouth. Name, the female Inquisitor demands. Jelisaveta, I respond professionally. The necromancer claimed you were an Inquisitor. I am one, I confirm. Unless this debrief goes poorly for me, I suppose. The Inquisitor captain lets out an amused noise. The woman interrogating me doesn't. What is the identity of the necromancer you were accompanying? She snaps. She's. I start to answer, but then cut myself off. Actually, I need to see your clearance level to answer that. Sorry. I feel the woman's muscles tense under her armor, and she starts to speak before getting cut off by her captain, who does actually pull out what appears to be proper clearance papers and shoves it in front of my face. I read it over, and as far as I can tell it's the real deal. The entire Inquisition is being cleared for knowledge of Site 4, the captain grunts. We're in an all-hands-on-deck situation. You may speak freely in this room, Inquisitor. I nod. I guess that makes sense, now that the prison is destroyed and the prisoners are all back to being active threats. I was in the company of Vita, prisoner class Epsilon 2, I report. Wait, isn't Epsilon what ours was under? The younger boy asks, and if I had any doubts as to his age they are cleared at the sound of his voice. My guess is that he is no older than 16. The other two Inquisitors turn to glower his way, which is somehow still effective despite their helmets. He shuts up immediately. That's correct, I answer anyway. There were 2 Epsilon-class prisoners at Site 4, ours and Vita. And what's the status of ours? The captain demands. Escaped, I report. He killed himself. What? The woman asks. So he died after escaping? No, he escaped by dying, I clarify. Epsilon-class prisoners are abominations known as lakeys, the captain explains. Upon death, their soul can possess another body, returning them to life. It is believed that ours is to prepare viable bodies in advance, but we have no known way to locate or identify those bodies, so the assumption is that at least one is still alive after all these years. We can bet he's back and healthier than ever. A grim mood sets over the room. That's more than I knew about the whole thing, but it makes sense. But enough background, the captain continues. We're just going to have to ask these questions again if we keep badgering her before we start. Inquisitor, have you ever been in decontamination before? I hesitate. Ah, I say. Yes, but I don't remember it. He seems immediately startled. Who performed your? Ah, wait. Captain Manus, I assume. That's correct, I tell him. He relaxes, nodding. We don't have that level of skill, so I'm afraid you'll remember the whole experience. Apologies in advance. I swallow, nodding slowly. Sheesh, is there any way he could have been a little more intimidating? At least I won't walk into my boss office and then randomly wake up terrified in my room, I retort, trying to inject a bit of levity into this. I've been surrounded by animancers for months now, but this is the first time I have the impending knowledge that I'm about to have animancy cast on me. My soul is about to be violated by my peers. Shit, 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 shit. You have nothing to fear if you're innocent, the woman says, her fingers starting to twist together a spell. That is the least true statement I have ever heard, I counter, clenching my bound fists as tightly as I can. Just drop your magic resistance, she orders. I do, although it's pretty damn hard considering how much my stress response wants to keep my defenses as high as they'll go. She puts her hand on my abdomen, just over where my soul rests, and yet nothing seems to happen. There's no crippling dread like when Vita brushes my soul. The Inquisitor's spell has not even a hint of contact or warning. Somehow, this is even scarier, and I tend to like to talk when I'm stressed. I enjoy getting people to open up and learning about lives more interesting than my own. Everyone has their own story, you know? It's incredibly fascinating, not to mention humbling, to immerse myself in the reality that every single person in the entire world has a life at least as complex and meaningful as my own. If I wasn't being interrogated, I'd like to chat with these people, learn their names, and figure them out. Of course that wouldn't be appropriate in this context, and for whatever reason I'm kind of in the mood to talk about myself. What the fuck do I talk about in this situation, though? Site 4 stuff? I'd better make sure not to leave out any details. I open my mouth to start rambling, but I'm quickly cut off. Wait until you are asked a question, Inquisitor, the captain orders, as if he was expecting this reaction. I shut my mouth. He was expecting. Oh, Watcher, he was expecting it. This is the animancy. I instantly stiffen up, my eyes opening wide. They are giving me a desire to relay my experiences truthfully and completely. Which? Okay, I admit that's a pretty reasonable interrogation method. It won't be that bad, probably. I slow my breathing as best I can, calming down. It's fine. Things will be fine. It'll all probably be easier if I just actively try to ignore all the animancy being done to me and just go with the flow. It's not like I can or should try to avoid decontamination. How many times have you been in decontamination before? The captain asks. Only once, that I know of. I answer, happy to finally have a question asked of me. Not counting this time, I mean. Have you ever had animancy cast on you for other reasons? He presses. If so, by who? Yes. I confirm. I cast animancy on myself as part of my duties. I've sinned with soul sight and soul shield daily. But it's okay. I'll work it off in the afterlife, right? It's worth it to be able to keep more dangerous people in check. Although I guess I didn't actually do that. I'm kind of a failure of a Templar, aren't I? The words roll easily off my tongue, the painful emotions accompanying them passing through me and sliding off like they're covered in oil. I guess that might have been a bit too much information, but better too much than not enough, I think. I really hope my answer is everything they want to know. What are you picking up, Ewan? The captain asks. Her? Well, she's integrating very quickly, the boy answers. Which I suppose is both convenient and worrying? Ewan. What a nice name. Hi, Ewan. I greet him. It's nice to meet you. Hello, ma'am. He responds awkwardly. Anyway, I do see signs of a fairly obvious memory wipe, like she reported. Can't be more than a few days, though, based on size. Nothing else. I second that report, the nice woman modifying my soul grunts. I as well, the captain nods. So, what are we thinking? A couple hours, based on integration speed? 3 at most, the woman grunts. I hope she is not grumpy. I want to cheer her up. Then let's talk outside, the captain says, and the 3 of them leave the room, locking me inside it. Wait. No one is here to ask me questions now. Oh, no. But I want to tell them things. My first impressions are positive. I hear the woman speak from a few rooms down. If she has been affected by conamancy, the signs of it are gone, and I couldn't find any evidence of a soul tumor. I don't see any way she could be a sleeper. Agreed, I hear the captain confirm. It's quite the relief, but stay on guard until after your modifications finalize. We still need to fish for conflicts of directive regarding, hey, I can still hear you. I shout at the top of my lungs, since I doubt they'll be able to hear me unless I do so. You'll have to move further away. In response, I hear the telltale void of sound that accompanies a silence bubble. That works too, I suppose. I should have expected that. Most Templars are better at magic than me. I hope they appreciate my honesty there. They were talking about pretty interesting stuff. I'm curious about what sort of spells they casted on me, but I think I'll make a point to actively not think about or try to memorize any. Seems like the smart thing to do. I suppose I'm alone now for a while. That really sucks. I want to answer all the questions and get this over with. Well, no sense thinking about what I can't do. It's really nice that this interrogation room doesn't smell like blood. I'm really fucking tired of the smell of dried blood. It is moldy, but what Forbidden Sin basement isn't? Not that I've been in many, but they've certainly all been moldy so far, and I see no reason that would change. I wonder if sin helps mold grow. Would that make any sense? No, of course it wouldn't. Still, maybe someone will ask me about it. I want to talk very much, but I shouldn't talk unless it would help the Inquisitors. I hope they come back soon. I want to answer their questions. Yeah, I guess that's the animancy talking? I sure got conamancied, huh? I should be scared. I should be terrified of this. Why am I not? No, of course I'm not. This is important. They have to know for sure I'm trustworthy. Only animancy can confirm the use of animancy. This is good. This is fine. They just need to come back so I can tell them everything and answer all their questions. I want to answer them. I want to. 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 Time passes with wretched slowness as I sit in agonized silence, arms twitching against my bindings as I internally war with my desire to go find my fellow Inquisitors and tell them everything, and my desire to stay here and wait like I'm supposed to. They need to know, but I'm stuck here. Why won't they come back in and let me speak to them? Did I fuck up again? But they should know, they need to know, I want to tell them. Gah! Every footstep that seems to approach makes me spasm with anticipation. I can smell them working around outside my door, I can hear them navigating hidden passageways, peering at me from cracks in the wall behind my head. They are there. They can ask. I want to blurt out everything, but I have to wait until they ask. Why won't they ask? Why? Finally they open the fucking door and walk back inside. How many hours of agony has it been? I'm not usually this impatient, but it hurts so much, and I have to tell them everything. Tell us about your time at Site 4, Inquisitor, the Templar captain orders. With an explosion of relief, the words start pouring out of me like a mudslide, bolstered by an overwhelming joy at finally being able to say them. I tell the whole story, starting from the wagon right to Site 4, trying to give every detail possible. The young Inquisitor frantically scribbles down my every word with a pen, recording it in shorthand as I blabber on and on, describing all the minuscule details my talent picks up for the first time in many, many years. It feels so great to do so fulfilling to finally put this information to use. At least, it does up until I'm asked to omit those unless I consider them particularly relevant, which is a shame because we've barely even started talking about the first day. It's okay though, that's okay. I can report. I can do this right and not screw it up. I can help. I can tell them everything, and it feels so good. Then I recorded our whole conversation on her captured souls in her file, though I omitted the thinly veiled death threat. Then, why did you omit the death threat? The captain asks, cutting me off. Yay, another question. Because I believed not doing so would be pointlessly harmful, I say honestly. Vida is a person that needs to feel powerful and in control in order to be comfortable, likely as a side effect of a damaging childhood. She's caught in the fallacy of assuming all power will be abused except her own, and lashes out as a way to make herself feel more comfortable. She also struggles with anticipating the consequences of the things she says. If I recorded those words and they came back to bite her, she'd consider that an abuse of a pointless detail, not a justified response to a statement that was not okay to say on her part. And do you think she would have been right or wrong to believe that? Wrong, of course, I tell him. But establishing mutual respect is the first and most important step to teaching her that, so I made the call I thought was the right one and removed the possibility of that confrontation. It doesn't seem like that answer completely satisfies him, but I can't really think of a better way to explain myself, and I don't think the problem is a lack of understanding, either. It's not at all important that he agrees with me, only that I give a complete answer to his question as I understand it. I continue to speak, detailing the start of the escape, helplessly watching Vida kill my allies, and other unpleasant memories that I just can't drum up the effort to feel terribly bad about right now. Just the facts, I have to give the facts. It makes me so happy to do so. I love not having to wallow in the regret, honestly. Part of your duty is to ensure neither Vida nor ours are released, the captain reminds me. This is a more important duty than your own life. How do you feel about your own survival, in that light? I'll accept any punishment for my breach of protocol, I tell him. But frankly, if I could have stopped Vida by sacrificing my life, I would have. I just believe such an outcome would have been fundamentally impossible. Vida is inhumanly strong, both physically and through her capacity to kill with a thought. I attempted to stop her on multiple occasions. I simply failed so utterly that she could stop my attempts without causing me permanent harm. Furthermore, the speed and skill with which she can create undead means my death would actually lower the chances that a more skilled Templar could successfully stop her. I continue my story. They ask me a lot of questions about ours, but I can't answer most of them. I can only tell them what I saw. They ask for detailed descriptions of every person involved in the breakout, and I give them damn detailed descriptions, down to the soul. They seem to appreciate that, which makes me giddy and warm inside. After I finish my story, discussing the forest trip, My desperate attempt to free the Templars under Vida's control, and ultimately my release back to Skyhope, I get hit with a round of questioning I'm not at all prepared for. Did you in any way assist with or cause the breakout at Site 4? The captain asks me. I blink in surprise, but the compulsion to answer forces the words from my mouth anyway. I don't think so, I answer hesitantly. If I did, it certainly wasn't with my knowledge or consent. Elaborate further, the captain demands. I can't think of any way in which I could have enabled the breakout, I answer firmly. But anyone can see the timing is suspicious. Roscoe's arrival, that's the bird plushie I told you about, only arrived because I ordered it re-examined, and the breakout happened very soon after its arrival. I don't understand what connection there could be, and of course the Templars re-examining it no doubt did their duties to the fullest extent, but I can't get it out of my head that I somehow screwed things up with that. Vida was exceptionally happy to see it. It's the catalyst that made her promise my survival. Yet at the same time, I didn't get any impression that she knew about the breakout before it actually occurred. I don't know. I just feel like I'm somehow missing something, but hopefully it's just paranoia. They don't ask anything further about that, thankfully, returning to questions I'm entirely happy to answer. It's pretty wonderful, all things considered. Just rambling about things I've done and feeling a sense of accomplishment for it. I could really get used to this. They ask me about people I care about. My family is very important to me, but to some extent I care about everybody and I make that clear. They ask me about what Vida made me say. I explained it's all part of my honest opinion and that Vida firmly believes in keeping her word. Leaving her alone would be the best option. And then they ask why I believe it's acceptable to let an animancer and soul enslaver run free. Well, maybe leave her alone isn't the right way to phrase it, I answer. Vida isn't a good person, really. I thought she was, but I was wrong. She wants to be a good person, though. And she could be. She's vengeful, but not malicious. She's brutal, but not sadistic. She can and does go out of her way to do the right thing, and she is a remarkable empath. I feel like if I just had more time, if we didn't have this breakout, I could have gotten through to her. I could have found a way to get a happy ending for everyone. I guess that's arrogant, but even after all this death, I can't think of her as a monster. I just watch his eyes. She killed so many people. She murdered and twisted the closest people I had to friends at Site 4, and I know she's evil for it. Yet all I see when I look at her is a child in pain. She doesn't deserve to be what she is. There's a long silence for a while, or at least the closest my talent lets me get to silence with 3 other people in the room. If you were ordered to kill her, would you? The woman asks me. I can't help but laugh a little. I would attempt to follow that order, yes, I say. I will do what I am asked to do. I wouldn't succeed, though. I'd be more likely to live through a jumping off the island. So if you were ordered to what you know would be certain death? She presses. Then I'd go, I confirm. I expected to be dead months ago, after all. I still remember the dull feeling of having my body bit into pieces, too caught in the throes of a sensory episode to consciously acknowledge my own mortal wounds. At least dying to Vida would be quicker, less shameful. Anyone else have any questions? The captain eventually asks. I hope they say yes, but unfortunately they do not. Wait, what am I going to do now? Oh no, I hope they don't leave me in silence again. Go ahead and fix her, then, the captain says, and the woman nods before starting to cast something. I blink, a sudden fear hitting me. Wait, I stutter. Fix me how? The boy stops writing, calmly working behind my chair as the captain answers. We're returning you to normal, Inquisitor, he says calmly. Are you sure you wouldn't rather ask more questions? I ask desperately. We're sure, he soothes, kneeling down next to me. It's going to be okay. I don't want to go back, I admit, because I know the shame that runs through me at saying it will just wash away like the rest of the bad feelings. I know, the captain tells me. That's common. But it's better to be how the Watcher made you, isn't it? How the Watcher made me. Right. Of course. I cared about that a lot before this. I like talking, I babble. I like being able to focus on your questions more than the smell of what you did 2 nights ago. I know you do, but it's important that we always. He pauses a bit as I watch him figure out what I'm alluding to, and I giggle a bit as he winces. That we always avoid the worst temptations of this evil craft. Your soul is just as sacred as any other, Inquisitor Gili Salvetta. You're right, I admit, because I know it's true. You're right. But please don't. Please. It will be over soon, Inquisitor, the captain damns me. You did well. Now be quiet, and be still. I try my best not to feel it as the female Inquisitor puts her hand on my belly and starts to take away all my gifts, but the terror of it hurts too much. I try to hold on to the joy of talking, the joy of answering, but it slips away from my soul. No, no, no. Being quiet is easy again. I won't feel it if I answer anymore. I know it's true and I want to cry. Oh, Watcher, I liked it. They used animancy to make me like it. What the fuck? This is decontamination? This is what Manus did to me? Or? No, wait. I don't remember what he did to me. It could have been anything. Why didn't I think about that before? The longer the other Inquisitor works on me, the more sick I feel. I'm so fucking pathetic. Am I really that desperate to feel like I'm not a fuck-up that I'd beg my coworkers to stay a mind's level? I start taking deep breaths, trying to calm my instinct to vomit. Holy shit, I'm so pathetic. You're going to be okay, Inquisitor, the captain reassures me. It's okay. Are you sure you can't remove my memory of this? I gasp. He chuckles as if it's a fucking joke. No, that's unfair. He gets it. He's just at the stage where he has to laugh to keep doing it. I really fucking hope I'm at least clear after all that, I groan. The final decision isn't entirely in my hands, but I'll certainly be giving my firm recommendation that you are, the Inquisitor captain reassures me. You're one tough woman, Inquisitor. Most people would have broken under that. I can't help it. I give him an incredulous look. I fucked up hard, I insist. I let literally every Templar at Site 4 die, sir. It's understandable to think that way, the captain nods. But put another way, you survived an unprecedented disaster that no one else could. You brought us hordes of valuable intel that we were just one life short of losing entirely, and you did it while convincing an army of monsters to keep your body and soul intact. Considering the circumstances, Inquisitor, I think your performance was exemplary. The female Inquisitor takes her hand off my belly and nods at the young Inquisitor behind me, who starts untying me from the chair. Welcome back, she grunts at me. You're nice and normal again. Is that a hint of sadistic amusement I feel from her? No, it can't be. I shouldn't be uncharitable to my fellow Templars. I'm probably just grumpy from getting mindfucked. I'm sure she is a kind and wonderful person. I really hope I never have to go through with this again, I say softly. Hopefully not, the captain agrees. It's a painful thing to submit yourself to. I'm escorted to another room down below the church as I think about those words, this one much nicer but still unmistakably a cell. Painful to submit to? I shudder. I'm much less worried about the pain than I am about the pleasure. I get why they do things that way. Generally, conamancy is at its most powerful when it's making people want things. But the combination of joy from speaking my thoughts and suppression of any shame or regret that might hold my tongue. Fuck, I feel so violated. It was wonderful, and that makes me want to scream. My new cell has a bed, and I suspect it'll be a day or so before I get final word on whether or not I'm safe to resume my duties, whatever those new duties might be. I'm more than okay with that. I am absolutely exhausted to my core, body and soul. I slip easily into rest, dreaming fitful nonsense about joy, failure, disgust, and for the first time in a long time, sex. I don't really remember much of it, though, as when I'm finally woken up I find myself trapped in the cacophony of my own mind, business as usual. Soon after I get up, the report exonerating me comes in and I actually get a whole fucking day to myself as a reward before I'm expected to return to active duty. Wow. One damn day, after all that. I feel like I need a vacation for a year. Unfortunately, Inquisitors are apparently in high demand and short supply given the whole Oz thing. Sucks to be me, I guess. Still, I use my time to splurge on the first fancy bath I've had in a damn long while, since I've been sitting on months of pay I've been physically unable to spend. Then I head quickly to my mother and father's house, resolving to spend the rest of my day off with them. Bless them both, they neither hug nor kiss me. I'm not a fan of touching people, least of all getting their saliva on me, but I happily enjoy being in the same room with the two people I love most for the first time in far too long. Even better, they understand not to ask me too many questions. They are far more than I deserve, I love them so much. All good things must come to an end, though. I wake up just before first light, say goodbye to them both, and start walking towards the closest temple to pick up my new orders and new armor. Early mornings are nice. There's far less activity, far less noise. The faint smell of dew even adds a pleasant undertone to the normally wretched stench of the city. I make a point to focus on it, trying to isolate the beauty out of the foul. It doesn't go very well, but that's okay. Careful, slow progress is how I stopped myself from going crazy when I first got my talent. It's how I'll continue to improve with it. Still, practicing my focus does leave me a bit uncharacteristically surprised when I hear the voice of someone I never expected to meet again. I suppose it's not entirely unreasonable that I didn't notice her, though, considering that her smell is completely different from the last time I saw her. Inquisitor Gilisaveta, First Lady Vesuvius greets me. What a pleasant surprise. I quickly turn to face her, bowing slightly. It's not really needed or expected to bow to true nobles, but they certainly tend to appreciate it. First Lady Vesuvius. I blurt out. Thank you again for healing me. I hope your research into my talent was helpful. Sure enough, she seems amused by the bow, and my reaction in general. Lady Vesuvius is quite the generous philanthropist, if you believe the propaganda, an eccentric, outspoken, but ultimately very kind woman. I can't personally help but find her intimidating, though, even if she was nothing but polite the one other time we met. Besides, what kind of eccentric but kind person casually slaughters 12,000 soldiers in an afternoon? Extremely helpful, Lady Vesuvius answers, smiling as if at a joke. Though unfortunately I learned little beyond how to replicate it, which I suspect is information that would do little good. Do accept my apologies. Oh, it's no trouble. I answer hurriedly. I wasn't really expecting anything from it. I know you're a very busy woman. She chuckles politely as I set to figuring out what the fuck her game is, here. Why did she appear behind me? What does she want? It has to be Site 4 related, there's no other reason I'd warrant her time. Does she know about Site 4, though? She certainly shouldn't know about it. But she is a close ally of the church and at the very least is smart enough to figure out that something big happened. It could just be that she saw the commotion between Vita and the army and recognized me from that. Fuck, actually, a ton of people will probably recognize me from that now. I'd certainly wish I had more time to deal with projects like yours, Lady Vesuvius admits. Unfortunately, most of my research time is devoted to national security matters, such as the Vrothizo. Very fascinating creatures, I must admit. Anyway, I suspect you've divined I have a purpose here, and you're right. After you left my care I didn't get to see you again until just now, and I would consider myself quite the failure of a doctor if I did not do a follow-up chat with you to inquire if you have any problems with your new limbs. Is that so? I ask, feeling oddly stressed about that. I'm sort of getting the general feeling that was a massive lie, and that's weird. Really weird, because I don't see or smell or hear any of the tells I would usually use to confirm that someone is lying. Honestly, I don't think I've felt like this about someone since before I got my talent. I've always been pretty good with people, even before I obtained super senses and then trained myself to pick up information without overwhelming myself. When I got the general feeling that someone was maybe full of a bit of bullshit, I ended up right 99% of the time. Since obtaining my talent, I learned that the things that gave me general feelings had actual reasons behind them, tiny details that my conscious brain was unable to latch onto but I still subconsciously absorbed. Most people seem to be able to do that pretty well, Vida herself being a notable exception. It hasn't really come up since I got my talent, though. I can just look at someone and know exactly where the bad vibes are coming from. Not so with Lady Vesuvius, though, which is weird. Maybe I'm getting a false positive? Or maybe she's just a really good liar. My arm and leg are fine, I tell her honestly. I haven't had any problems with them. I still kind of smell that damn nutrient goop everywhere I go, but I very carefully try not to pause my sentence or otherwise outwardly react as I come to a horrifying conclusion, heart beating out of my chest. Have mostly learned to ignore it by now. It's been getting less and less noticeable since you warned me about it. Fuck, she can copy my talent and she gave me a distinctive scent. Fuck. No way, no damn way. This is to be a coincidence, right? Why would she even? Wait. Weren't they both hunters? Is she why Vida smelled so bad when we ran away? She could be the family that Vida left to meet with. Fuck. That's wonderful to hear, Lady Vesuvius says demurely. Please let me know if it fails to disappear completely, or if you have any other problems. Of course, I agree pleasantly. I'd be happy to. My words falter as they leave my mouth, because as I speak them I'm also listening to far quieter words, subvocalized so only I can hear them. I told her you'd figure it out, Penelope whispers, her feigned smile terrifyingly fake. You're lucky that it took you until now. She continues at a normal tone, before I can respond. That's settled then, she announces with wretched pleasantry. That's really all the business I had, but it seems we're going the same way and I'd be delighted to have someone to walk with. I regain my composure halfway through her words, copying her private communication method. It's a scary idea. A silence bubble is an easy way to have a private conversation, but this way no one even knows we're having a private conversation. This is above me, I tell her while she speaks, trusting flat honesty in a situation where I have no clever ideas. Even if you threaten me or my family, I can't in good conscience ignore this. I'd love to have you with me, I then lie at a normal volume. It's truly an honor, Lady Vesuvius. Do you often go for walks before the sky brightens? I'm not threatening to hurt you or your family, the noblewoman insists in what I only assume is a very technical way. I'm asking you to help me prevent a war. I hesitate, forgetting to pay attention to the follow-up pleasantry she responds with. Vida did threaten war if we fuck with her, and ousting the person responsible for her freedom probably counts as that. Is it really my call on whether or not my nation goes to war, though? What I already said still applies, this is above me. My whole job is to relay shit like this to people who are equipped to make these decisions. I see you're still on the fence, Vesuvius the Inhuman whispers to me again, barely intelligible because she doesn't even move her mouth to do it. But if you're struggling to reconcile your duty with war, consider this. You know what I accomplished before I had a vodka-sponsored biological weapon research lab sitting within Skyhope's walls. And if you fuck with me, Inquisitor? If you start this shit? I won't be on your side. Chapter 129 The relative quiet of the early morning leaves me even more capable than usual of listening to the terrified pounding of my heart, contrasted by the freakish calmness of Vesuvius the Inhuman's 12. I have had a very awful couple of days, I whisper. So please tell me I didn't just hear you declare an intent to commit treason. She makes a slight, derisive snort. Holy shit, she can even scoff at me subvocally. That's some game noble smugness, I'll give her that. Damn it, why is this shit all happening to me? A day with my family was nice and all, but I'm still just fucking exhausted. I prefer to think of it as an intent to defend the girl I love from an unjust authority, Lady Vesuvius answers smoothly. It sounds far more laudable and objective when you say it like that, doesn't it? Though I do want to say, before we get any further into this, I'm willing to protect her with violence. I absolutely don't want to. My eyebrows raise very slightly. The girl she loves. So she and Vita. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I can work with that. At least once I figure out what the fuck I should be doing about any of this. Watcher's eyes, this is too much for me. This is way too much all happening all at once, and I'm not qualified to deal with any of it. But I have to. So you'd better focus, Julie Salvetta. Lives are on the line, and being a fuck-up doesn't mean you get to stop trying. What do you want, then? I asked quietly. I wonder, she answers coyly, studying me very closely. I'll answer, but you should go first. I swallow and nod. Not like I'm in a position to say no. I want everyone to have a happy ending, I say firmly. Lady Vesuvius laughs. That's funny, she smirks. I want everyone to not have an ending at all. Ah. Okay. The pieces are starting to fall into place. You're helping Vita figure out how to bring dead souls back to life, I conclude. I am indeed, she agrees, seeming pleased I figured that out. Vita cares mainly because of her dead friends and family, but she has also embraced my wish that no one should have to die. I am a biomancer at my core, after all. I heal. And I can think of no greater goal than curing the greatest affliction of mankind's history, death itself. That's ambitious, I respond slowly. I'd be offended if I was called anything less, Lady Vesuvius preens. You'd be denying people the afterlife, I point out. I doubt that, she shrugs. Even if such a thing exists, immortality is not the same as immunity to death. Besides, people could always opt out. We'd pretty rapidly run out of space and food, wouldn't we? I challenge. If we sit on our asses and do nothing? Yes, I suppose. But even ignoring the countless ways we could deal with that problem, it still seems like a fucking awful reason to continue letting several hundred people die literally every day. Okay. Okay. She's arrogant, prideful, absolutely swimming in hubris, but I think she's being honest. She's an idealist and she's trying to do the right thing. So is her threat the result of believing so firmly in those ideals that she'd go to any lengths to achieve them? Is it the result of the fear of losing someone she loves? Or is it because she is emotionally stunted in all the ways I'm picking up vague vibes on, despite her terrifying control over her expression? Does it actually matter? I'm not sure I agree with you on that, I say slowly, but in the end I certainly have no desire to stop you from researching immortality, if that's what you want to do. What I need to know is why you're telling me all this. You hinted at this on purpose, right? You sought me out in order to have this conversation. Why? Because you have stumbled into a position where you can help, Penelope answers, looking at me seriously. I care about Skyhope, Inquisitor. I care deeply about all of Vaka. Wanting the best possible life for my people is part of who I am. And somehow, you know I'm telling the truth about that, don't you? I nod, slowly, as my mind races a mile a minute. My talent is extreme, Lady Vesuvius continues. I can kill 0 people, 1 person, or everyone. If you intend to back me into a corner where I'll almost certainly be killed, my options become keeling over to die or lashing out, and I'm afraid I'm not a good enough person to be a martyr. For most people, you'd consider that fairly understandable, wouldn't you? For most people. By her own wording, she's acknowledging that her situation is drastically different. Yet should I call her out on that? No. It wouldn't help. What helps here? What are my goals? I suppose on a fundamental level one have only 2 options. I can go along with whatever it is Vesuvius the Inhuman wants from me, keep her secrets, and betray my duty. Or I can pretend to do that, covertly attempting to find a way to betray Vesuvius without letting the consequences spill out and get people killed. You know, like you did with Vita, I think to myself. You sure did a great fucking job keeping everyone alive there. You have my hands tied, metaphorically speaking, I tell her. Just make your case. Alright, if that's what you want, Lady Vesuvius agrees, nodding. Here's what I need from you, keep my secrets, and keep Vita alive. The church wants her destroyed, but she is an asset to Skyhope. Not only in regards to immortality, but in regards to her unprecedented ability to clear out the forest. She could single-handedly eliminate the need for hunters, Julie Salvetta. She's willing to, if we just fucking let her. Yet even more than that, more than anything, we need her because she is our best hope of stopping ours. Okay, that one I'm not letting slide. With all due respect, my lady, ours wouldn't be a problem at all if you hadn't staged a prison break. To my surprise, she nods in agreement. I'll cop that, she admits. The immediate situation is on me. I could claim that the very security intended to keep him secret is at fault. I had no idea he was even there, and if I did I would have made contingencies for that. But to me that seems like a less compelling counterpoint than simply pointing out that, yes, he absolutely would have. And how do you figure that? I grumble. Your people had ours this entire time, and their best idea for keeping him out of the public was to just hope he didn't die. Last I checked, I still haven't invented immortality yet, so exactly how much longer do you think that was going to last? I'm not privy to that kind of information, I answer noncommittally. Oh come on, Inquisitor. Don't ruin my opinion of your intelligence now. We need her alive because the Inquisition is refusing to research the animancy necessary to actually do their jobs. If they had a way to stop the man they would have damn well used it in the last decade and a half. Shit. I can't really refute that. Even if we recapture him, do we have a long-term plan? Plus, with Vita's absurd sensory range, she's our best bet at finding him. He might even seek her out, and if that happens we need to be absolutely fucking sure she doesn't join him. As things stand, she might do that even if he doesn't mind fuck her. That would be, I don't know, apocalyptic, probably. Even if Vita can stop ours, which is a big maybe, she's sort of dangerously immature and mentally unstable. She'd be a hard sell to my superiors without the blasphemy, Lady Vesuvius. Well, whose fucking fault is that? The young woman snaps. For shit's sake, you imprisoned and tortured her for longer than she has had a family. What did you think was going to happen? I was trying to, I know you were, Penelope cuts me off. She knows you were. But you need to open your eyes, Inquisitor. The leaders of your organization are up to so much shit they wouldn't notice if we routed the sewers into their homes. You might be good, your co-workers might be good, but the people you work for are corrupt, power-hungry hypocrites. And she expects me to believe she's better? Please. The woman who just threatened to kill a city isn't going to fool me with a mudslinging campaign. I can't just say that, though, because it's a threat she's legitimately capable of making good on. First Lady Penelope Vesuvius is a walking natural disaster the likes of which I'm not sure even the High Templars could stop. Sure, they could kill her, but would that save us, or just damn us all? She has me and she knows it. What I can't figure out, though, is why I'm even alive. Yeah, she has me, but why does she need me? Why not just have me assassinated or captured or something? I guess that would be pretty conspicuous, but I doubt she has no way to anonymously murder someone. She can't have qualms about that. Is it just because Vita wanted me alive? That sounds fucking ridiculous. I'm not that important. Inquisitor, Penelope says slowly, do you think the world would be better off with Vita and I dead? The question takes me by surprise, and I frown. What kind of question is that? You can't be judged before you even live your life, I answer. Not even the watcher can see the future. That's a deflection, she points out. No, it's my honest opinion, I disagree. How am I supposed to know if you're going to help the world or ruin it? I don't know, my lady. I want to default to believing you want the best for us, but you made that pretty damn difficult when you opened this conversation by threatening thousands of lives. Penelope sighs. Ah, My flair for the dramatic is finally coming back to bite me, she muses. Apologies. I just feel the need to go all in when betting the life of my love. But I, like you, believe everything works best when we can all compromise and get along. All I'm asking you for is assistance in preventing the worst from coming to pass. I know, I say. And I'd have loved to help if you weren't coercing me and forcing me to lie like a traitor in order to do that. The entire situation might be out of my hands anyway, Lady Vesuvius. I have no idea when or why they might put me back into decontamination, and then I gesture helplessly. Inquisitors are not good secret keepers, I finish. I will find a way to solve that problem, Lady Vesuvius promises. If you think it's going to happen, you come to me first. Fine, I agree, not really seeing any other option. We'll take care of Melissa, she says suddenly. Startled, I turn towards her. I mean that, she continues. That's not a threat, it's unconditional. Vida and I will ensure she heals and lives a good life. I glower slightly. Unless the two of them aren't around to help, is that it? No, no. Ugh. I'm exhausted and just being a bitch at this point. That's an olive branch, Jelisaveta. Take it. Thank you, I say. She deserves more than what she got. Lady Vesuvius grins wide, baring her teeth. She does, doesn't she? The woman agrees, holding out her hand. May this be the lowest point of our partnership, Jelisaveta. I know I can be a bit extreme, but I assure you we want the same things. I stare at the hand like it killed my mother. I hate handshakes. People have no idea how gross handshakes are, and I'm in Chivis so I don't even get a layer of armored chitin between me and the other person. I don't even have gloves. Still, my social instincts win out and I reach forward to grab her hand, give it a firm shake, and immediately panic as something pierces my magic resistance. I try to jerk my hand away and fail, my body momentarily frozen. She looks me in the eye and continues smiling as the shake continues for an awkwardly long amount of time before she finally lets go, and my body is my own again. I want to step back, I want to run the fuck away, but I can't risk acting strange, I can't give away that she might have done anything or she might escalate. There's no one else on the street, but there are at least 28 people nearby that are up and awake, and they might investigate the commotion. What did you do to me? I whisper. What does it feel like I did to you? She counters. Holy shit, what a terrifying fucking question. Am I walking plague bomb now? I feel. Huh. I'm not tired anymore, I realize. She winks. Just a little biomantic pick-me-up. Honestly, I doubt I could get out of bed without that spell, it's so useful. I'd say thank you, except I didn't ask for this, and I have no way to know if it's the only thing you did to me. Well, if I did put a remotely activatable trap inside your body, purely hypothetically, of course, all you would need to do is follow the terms of our little agreement and I'd have no reason to use it, now would I? I swallow, nodding slowly. I of course don't remember agreeing to anything, but that's somewhat of a pointless piece of pedantry to mention now. I should get to the church, I say, loud enough to be heard for the first time since being threatened. I have an appointment to make, I'm afraid. Ah, of course, Penelope responds, all formality and smiles. This is where we part ways, then. Thank you again for the company, Inquisitor. Anytime, I lie, and start walking away. She does the same, heading the opposite direction. I still hear her whisper after me as I leave, though. Remember, Inquisitor, she intones. Hypocrisy. I grit my teeth and decline to answer, trudging the rest of the way to the nearby church with the weight of the conversation pressing down on me. Our new grand cathedral is nowhere near as beautiful as the one in the center city used to be, but it's still a lovingly wrought tower of stonework that I'm sure would look a lot more beautiful to someone that couldn't see the hundreds of jagged imperfections. The inside is 1,000 times worse, though, because the church tends to regularly burn scented candles in order to freshen up the place. Watcher, my nose just wants to murder me. At least I don't have to wait long before I'm escorted to meet what I assume will be my new boss now that Captain Manu says, compromised. and also dead. I don't expect to be ushered into a room with 2 High Templars, a Templar General, and 2 older men not in Templar uniforms at all. Though I guess considering how today has been going so far, I probably should have. I snapped to attention. Inquisitor Gilly Salvetta reporting. I announce. What the hell are all these super high-ranking people doing overseeing my assignment meeting, of all things? What am I going to be sent on now? I recognize one of the High Templars. She has Golda's distinctive burnt smell, but I don't know who anyone else in this room even is. Welcome, Inquisitor, the Templar General says. How was your break? He's a man, and the unknown High Templar is a woman. Templar Generals are basically just the rank above Templar Captains. We don't have anywhere near as many ranks as the Army does. There's Captains, Generals, and then there's Templar Command. High Templars aren't part of those rankings, they are their own category. It was short, sir, I say frankly. But I'm ready for duty. He barks out a laugh. Good answer. Now then, we've all read your report. We have some questions for you, regarding your treatment of animivores. I let my eyebrows raise slightly. I did admit that I fed Melissa during the decontamination, I suppose. Ask away, I prompt politely. What is your opinion on animavorism? The General asks frankly. I hesitate. Well, I suppose if I get excommunicated I might finally get to take a break, at least. Well, I feel the need to acknowledge that my opinion comes from a position of ignorance, I blabber quickly. I'm certainly no preacher, but, human souls, or I guess the souls of all sapient creatures, are sacred. The consumption of them is wrong. But animavorous oozoids don't eat humans. Melissa's case proves they can't. And to my knowledge they are naturally occurring creatures, so. It seems as though the Mistwatcher must keep them around for a reason. The Templar General turns his head to one of the armorless old men. Preacher? He prompts. It is a good answer, the preacher nods solemnly. What's your opinion on Vrothizo, Inquisitor? The General asks, turning back to me. I blink. Non sequitur, but okay. They're extremely dangerous monsters, I answer. Mindless and aggressive. They're an obvious problem. And if a Vrothizo was not mindless and aggressive? How would you feel about that? That's a very open-ended question, sir, I hedge. The details would greatly influence my answer. There's a tension settling in the room, and I start getting the impression that my answer is very important. Golda in particular seems intense. More than usual, I mean. What would you do if you met a Vrothizo that could both speak and reason, and didn't act with apparent aggression? The General clarifies. Well, that's an easy question, at least. I suppose I would introduce myself, sir, I say. There's a brief pause, and then Golda the Annihilator busts out laughing. What's so funny? What else am I supposed to do when I meet someone? The Templar General just looks around the room, receiving subtle nods from everyone else. All right then, Inquisitor, the General begins, let me explain the current situation. As you well know, Ars Rainier is once again at large. We don't know where he's or what he's doing, but we must assume there will be hostile action. As a result, we are assigning at least one Inquisitor to every single Templar squad in order to act as animancy detection, defense, and consultation. The Inquisition is being split up, expanded, and largely declassified, with the exception of how to actually cast animancy. That will be your first major duty to your new squad. I nod. That makes perfect sense. I think something similar was done during the Ars crisis itself, at least after the Inquisition got purged of his influence. Ars and his thralls catching Templars alone is what allowed them to convert so many. Kind of like what Lady Vesuvius did to me, actually. Except, no, with animancy. Your second major duty to your squad, the General says, putting an Inquisitor captain's helmet on the table in front of him, will be to lead it. Watcher fucking damn it. No. I don't want to be and absolutely shouldn't be in charge of anyone. Why are they doing this? Why? It's an honor, sir, I say out loud. You will be captaining the yet-to-be-created Squad 56, the General orders. Which, lucky for you, means that your short break gets to last a little bit longer. You'll have a team of newbies, and you won't be going on any actual missions until they finish their training. We do expect you to report to their barracks and get to know them all beforehand, however. Of course, sir, I acknowledge. He nods, placing a set of folders next to the proffered helmet. These are the dossiers on your future squad members. Familiarize yourself with them. Some of them have abnormal permissions and special needs. Though it's nothing you haven't demonstrated the capacity to excel at dealing with. I swallow, stepping forward when he gestures to do so and flipping quickly through my team, quickly picking up the basics. Holy shit, I have a former tactical officer? Sir, with all due respect, am I really qualified for this? I ask, my stress blooming brightly enough to finally protest. We're going to be dealing with two of the most powerful animancers in history, and we are doing it sooner rather than later, the general grunts. As the only one to meet them both and return alive, I can't think of anyone more qualified. None of that is thanks to my own power, I argue. I was just as helpless against ours as anyone else. With all due respect, sir, you're expecting me to lead a team I'm going to be the weakest member of. He drums his armored fingers on the desk, considering me. Inquisitor, the absolute last thing we want is to put a Templar in charge because they're powerful, he says. We don't want a captain that solves problems with raw strength. We want a captain that gets shit done because she's clever, and that's you. You might call it dumb luck, but I call it talent. A more important kind than the one the Watcher put in your soul. I take a deep breath, and nod. Yes, sir, I acknowledge. Any other comments? The General asks, turning to the High Templars. Take good care of the kid, Vigor orders me, or I'll kick your ass. Which kid? No, it doesn't matter. I'll take care of them all. That's my job now, I guess. Yes ma'am, I answer her, and she gives me a curt nod. Interitus? The General prompts the other High Templar. We like her, she hisses. She will do. I carefully control my reaction as my mind races. That name sounds like the dead language ours uses, and the way she talks. Do we have a splice as a High Templar? I regret not having soul sight on, but it just seems gauche to cast animancy in a church. That will be all, then, Inquisitor Captain Julie Salvetta, the General orders me. You are authorized for additional animancy education, which will begin at dawn in 2 days' time, in the Inquisition headquarters. You are to associate with and familiarize yourself with your future team until then. You may introduce yourself as their future captain, so long as you do not speak with the implication that their graduation is a foregone conclusion, as it is not. Pick up your new armor and weapons from the quartermaster. Dismissed. Numbly, I salute and exit the room, carrying my files and my new Watcher damn helmet. Everyone I tried to save died. Why is anyone putting me in charge of more people? Well, it's a bunch of new people, at least. I probably won't be sent on any crazy missions with a team full of freshly sprouted trainees. I start reading all the dossiers more carefully, trying to learn as much as I can before I meet everyone. Other than the tactical officer, the rest of them look normal so far, at least. Let's see, last one. Trainee Clark. That's a pretty name. Halfway through reading the first page, I stop walking. When I'm done, I read it again. No way. No damn way. This is to be a mistake, right? Yet there it is, listed right at the top. Age, 2 years. Species, Vrothizo. Confessed to multiple crimes including murder, torture, and consumption of human flesh. Confirmed animivore. Is allotted 4 living mice per day, to be delivered to the barracks and swallowed whole. They feed her. They confirmed that Vrothizo eats souls and they feed her. They've been feeding her since before the prison break. Why? Why this killer and not the innocent Melissa? No matter how I think about it, I can't seem to stop Lady Vesuvius' words from echoing insidiously in the back of my mind. Hypocrisy. Chapter 130 A Titanic crash quakes the forest. A burst of pressure is shaking leaves from the trees even hundreds of yards away. I feel the fight in front of me, two beasts of unfathomable proportions duel to the death, one for territory and the other to quench an unspeakable hunger. It's the kind of power that makes hunters tremble, the sort of creatures for which there are no campfire stories because mere humans simply do not meet them and return alive. A grin parts my lips as I sense the moment they feel me, and I'm the one they fear. Even after spending a few hours cuddling Penelope, and holy shit I've missed having someone to hold, I was still antsy after returning to camp. Ultrix healed up my face pretty much immediately, which is crazy impressive. Not even Penelope can do that, but I fucked off pretty soon after that. She felt guilty about something, and wanted to have a big talk, and I couldn't. Still can't. Not yet. Things are too fucked. I've journeyed deep into the forest, aimlessly at first but with increasing boldness. I've never been this deep. No one goes this deep. Throughout most of the forest, the trees tend to grow between 20 and 50 feet high. Looking up now, I think the canopy must be hundreds of feet above me, the trunks as thick as city streets. With each tree taking up so much more space and devouring so much more light, there's plenty of room between each trunk and much less shrubbery choking the ground. It's dark, but visibility is better overall. And there's space for the giants to grow. Again, a thunderclap rings through the forest as my two chosen prey continue fighting each other, my tentacles coiling in glee. If my soul could salivate, it would be drooling a veritable waterfall. These big bastards are too busy kicking the shit out of each other to run from me, so I guess they're just going to serve each other up on a silver platter. Let's see. I guess I'll kill the Vrothizo second, since it probably won't flee anyway. My perception flits through literal miles of forest life, yearning for the millions and millions of souls within. To my senses it's like a vast field of glittering jewels in every shape and size, from the tiniest insects to the mightiest beasts. It kind of makes me wish I could fill a big pit with souls and swim around in them. Actually, I guess that's kind of what my own body is. I start squirming around inside myself, poking at the various inert souls of my collection and giggling as I approach my soon-to-be meals. Nearly 100 yards in front of me, I spot my prey for the first time as one of them leaps between two trees, its long, millipede-like body undulating through the air like a whip. The monster must be at least 30 feet long, and it looks like a spike-covered snake. Every inch of the massive murder noodle is covered in bony points, and I watch with fascination as two of said spikes launch out of the side of the beast, still attached to the main body by a thin cord of flesh. They lodge into the bark of another tree and yank the entire monster towards it, diverting its course seconds before a pitch-black claw crashes down where it used to be. A single paw of the giant Vrothizo is larger than I am. It draws gashes through the tree bark and cracks the ground, causing me to stumble. Its soul is massive by normal standards, though compared to the size of its body it's almost pitiful. Not that I'm going to complain about eating it. Power. Fuel. The skin just under my armpit twitches where a new tentacle is trying to form, but I ignore it. If I have to endure more unwanted growth from this meal, I will. Just don't think about it, as usual. As I approach, it becomes clear that killing the Vrothizo second is going to be kind of a pain in the ass. The grappling hook centipede thingy is just way too fucking fast for me to catch up with, and it's smart enough to not want to be anywhere near me. In fact, it's trying to flee, but the Vrothizo keeps cutting off its escape and pinning it between the two of us. I'm not really sure if that's instinct or intelligence, because I still can't feel much other than all-consuming hunger coming from the Vroth. With escape looking less and less likely, the Griplepete switches to an offensive, firing its spikes towards the Vrothizo itself. I finally get a good look at the behemoth's full body, 6 massive, simian-like arms tipped with claws longer than my legs radiate out from its body in an equidistant pattern, interchangeably striking out to slash at their target, grab and swing from trees, or push off the ground to run. 3 long, serpent-like black tongues lash out from the gaping mouth of its dog-like head, spraying saliva and trying to wrap around the incoming prey. The Griplepete is too fast, though. It twists in the air to dodge the counter-offensive and smashes into the Vrothizo's chest, wrapping around it so its countless spikes dig into the black creature's body. Then it starts to move, rushing across the Vrothizo's radial torso and leaving dark, bloody tracks wherever it scurries. The Vrothizo roars furiously, grasping at its chest in an attempt to catch the horrid, spike-covered snake now dripping with black blood. Yet the other monster just twists onto the Vrothizo's back, digging deep into a ridge between the shoulder blades where its many arms cannot reach. In response, the Vrothizo throws itself backwards into a tree, attempting to splatter the other beast between them. It is a testament to the terrifying durability of these skyscraping plants that the impact of what must be tens of thousands of tons slamming against it barely even causes it to shake. I've not a doubt in my mind that this Vrothizo could knock over the walls of Skyhope like they're a child's stack of blocks. Assuming it could get that far before the High Templars turn it to ash, anyway. Unfortunately for the Vrothizo, the Griplepede avoids the impact, twisting itself around the bicep of one of the black beast's many arms before moving up to the neck. Once again, the Vrothizo tries to snatch the Griplepede between its claws, but this time that stubby snake doesn't avoid the strike. Instead, spikes fire outwards from its body and embed themselves in the Vrothizo's wrists before they're pulled back tight against the Griplepede's body, leaving the Vrothizo only able to scratch at its own face. Sensing my opportunity, I burst forward, leaping up on the Vrothizo's back as it chokes and struggles. Now that the Griplepede has more or less trapped itself in an attempt to score a kill, I can easily run up the Vrothizo's back and yank out PD's soul. Which it quickly seems to realize, squirming in terror as it fails to choke out the black beast before I reach it, shove my tendrils inside, and gleefully rip its life away from it. Instantly, the Vrothizo switches its target to me, which is a slight problem due to how damn big it is. Having a huge body and a tiny soul means I need to reach pretty far inside this thing to grab its spirit, and I physically can't reach far enough if I'm all the way up on the neck. It's just a short jaunt back down the shoulders to my yanking spot, though, and soon enough I have two massive, tasty morsels all to myself. I should probably make one arisen, just so I can ride it home while I'm eating the first. And shit, I'm not going to say no to returning to camp on the back of a 30-foot tall leading monster. It seems like a good way to avoid awkward conversations. Plus, this way I can carry the Griplepede corpse back as well, and eat it. I'm surprised when night falls, but I probably shouldn't be. I'm deep in the forest. How long have I been wandering around out here? I guess I'm many miles away from the camp, since I can't feel it anymore. It's kind of weird having a sensory range this long. I continue riding back and munching throughout the night, occasionally leaping off my mount to go sneak up on and kill sleeping monsters powerful enough to be worth the effort. I haven't really been sleeping much at all since escaping Site 4, and considering the massive soul meals I've been having, I doubt tonight will be any different. Sure enough, I feel perfectly energetic all the way through the island passing overhead, and when light returns to Verdantop I finally feel my destination enter the edges of my senses. What I don't expect is to sense Theodora, Margaret, and Vitamin there. I urge my massive mount forward, which in this part of the forest means I needed to smash through trees in order to fit half the time. No wonder the deep forest holds all the biggest, most dangerous crap. It must be a massive pain in the ass for anything this big to leave. I guess when you think about it, this part of the forest is sort of a barrier protecting us from an even worse part of the forest. Well, protecting everyone else, I guess. I no longer need protection from mere monsters. Everyone else in my camp does, though, so screaming panic erupts throughout it when my mega monster mount emerges from the trees. Hey everyone! I announce, waving happily as a team of former prisoners and undead emerge to try and protect everyone from the incoming threat. No worries, it's just me. Vita. One of them huffs, clutching his chest and sagging in relief. You're back. Of course I'm back. I call back, hopping down from my perch. You didn't think I'd die in the forest, did you? I mean, kinda? Vita. Squeals my favorite revenant, dashing towards me at hyperspeed and jumping into my arms. I catch her and spin her around. Vitamin. I answer back, nuzzling her face. Hey, baby girl. When did you and the others get here? How did you get here? Capita dropped us off yesterday. Vitamin giggles happily. She says hi, and also wanted me to ask you not to kill Sky when you next see him. I'll think about it, I answer flatly. On one hand, the dude helped break me out. On the other hand, he is a mass-murdering terrorist and arguably the reason I was in prison in the first place. So, why are you here? Well, we wanted to be with you, duh. Vitamin answers, pouting slightly until I put her on my shoulders. But also Theodora and Margaret had a bunch of stuff they wanted to do. I think Margaret is making a thingy. Ooh, a thingy, I grin, nodding along. Sounds cool. Should we go see her? She'd love that. Vitamin agrees. I order my new mount to start following us around the outside of the camp, ripping trees out of the ground for our building teams to use as Vitamin, and I head towards where Margaret is doing something. It looks like she cleared out a wide area, put down a big slab of stone. Where did she get that? And is now carving runes on it. Mar. Vitamin calls out. Hey. The pitch-black half-humanoid half-scorpion skeleton monster that I think Vitamin convinced me to adopt at some point turns its empty skull towards us and continues grinning, though now I feel the intent to win her soul. She dashes towards us like the beautiful nightmare she is, scooping me up and wrapping her ribcage around my head, which I suppose technically counts as a hug, so I hug her back. Vita. You're back. Welcome. Halumph. Groot, I greet her, my face smooshed against her bones. HWADNG. I'm doing great. She answers happily. Really great. I'm making us a teleportation circle. I'm surprised, and I successfully remember to shape my face to reflect that. I'm back in civilization now, at least kind of. You know how to make teleportation circles? I ask, extracting my head from the bone hug. Isn't that crazy difficult? Oh yeah, definitely. Margaret preens. But I used to do regular maintenance on the Lisha Grain Gate. Theodora did that, I mean. Sorry, I'm trying to remember to not claim those actions, but Anyway, I remember it like I did it. We don't have the metal for a proper spatial gate, but we do have the magical chutzpah to charge runes manually and flash teleport things. I just need to get a few kinks worked out, which... Oh, actually. She presses a bony finger on the side of her skull, channeling mana through a rune engraving there. Hey, Nugas? She says out loud, even though Nugas isn't anywhere nearby. Yeah, let's try another test. Use one of Theodora's rats, I have a good feeling about this one. Margaret skitters over to the slab, motioning us to follow. Incredibly intricate metamancy glyphs dance across the stone, the sight of them making my head spin. I can almost feel the pull of understanding from the ocean of mana inside me, seeing a hint of the brilliantly impossible structure the glyphs are trying to represent with a mere 2 dimensions, but when I try to focus on the feeling it vanishes like ice in a hot bath. Okay, activating. Margaret says. 3, 2, 1. There's a loud cracking sound. And suddenly a bloody, ooze-covered but otherwise normal rat appears in the middle of the slab. It's alive, but seems to be sleeping. Huh? I say. Did Theodora's weird incubator things finally give birth? I ask. Nope, Margaret answers. No, they did not. Hey, Nugas? Yeah, it didn't deflate, per se, we actually teleported. Yep. You Well, yeah, that's technically progress, but... Oh. You. Yeah, give it 5 minutes for the mana to finish cycling out and then you can clean up, okay? Sorry. She ends the communication spell and turns back to Vitamin and I. Wow. Okay, so this still isn't safe at all. Sorry about that. But yeah, oh shit in a sack, what is that? Margaret's jaw opens up wide and she points. I follow her finger with my soul eye and shrug as I realize she is just noticing my super huge froth eyes arisen as it rips up some trees nearby. I mean, it's pretty much what it looks like. I answer, shrugging. I want it, she announces. Huh? I blink. Vita, I want its bones. She insists. Please? Please, please, please? Please give me its bones. Vrothizo bones are the best. I could make so many cool bodies with it. Backups, extras. Oh. I could make a body for Nora. Please, Vita? A body for Nora? I wrap my tendrils around her, hugging her close. I guess she deserves one to call her own. It'll be weird not protecting her myself, though. Sure, I allow. I can eat its soul if you want to use its corpse for parts. Where do you want me to kill it again? She squeals with delight, scooping me up for another prehensile ribcage hug. We guide the massive Vrothizo to another clearing at Margaret's request and I pop out its soul, happily munching down on the raw power as Uramia starts to meander over as well. Welcome back, Vita, he greets me politely. And hello again, Margaret. Onto a new project already? Jerry. Margaret cheers. I'm so glad you're here. Help me peel all this flesh away, would you? We're going to make so much cool shit out of this. He chuckles, glancing worriedly at the 30-foot-tall corpse. Well, I suppose I did ask to compare notes with you, as it were, and a gentleman never hesitates to get his hands dirty for a lady. Exactly. Margaret agrees, already starting to burrow into the corpse's chest cavity. So get to work. Oh man, I have so many great ideas. So, you remember how I was talking about anima branch flexibility and distance issues? Well, they became fast friends, Vitamin explains solemnly. I can see that, I confirm, deciding to wander off and leave them to it. That's nice, huh? It's very nice. Vitamin agrees. I think Margaret is really happy to have a new friend. Especially a human friend. It's just kind of been us, Nubas, and Penelope for years now. Do Nubas and Penelope not count as human friends? I ask. Eh? Vitamin hedges. I mean, they are not really human anymore. Plus they are more like family than friends. When you marry Penelope, Nubas is gonna be my sister for realsies. I blink. Wow, I'm not touching any part of that mess. Speaking of, how about we go see Theodora? I ask, desperately changing the subject. Heck yeah. Vitamin cheers. We set off, though along the way I spot a kill from above, of all people, assisting the shelter building team. He seemed completely uninterested in doing much of anything to help anyone, so it's a big surprise. I start walking his way, waving at him. Yo, to kill. I call out. I see you've finally decided to help out. The bugman quickly finishes what he's doing, then turns to face me, standing ramrod straight with two hands clasped behind his back and two hands clasped in front. Greetings, Vita, he answers in a clipped, militaristic tone. Your observations are accurate. I have determined that the goals of the community align with my primary objective. Therefore, I am compelled to assist. Well hey, that's good to hear. I answer, smiling at him. Your joy is noted. For clarification, is it accurate that you intend to come into conflict with the pseudo-governmental entity responsible for our incarceration, known commonly as the Church of the Mistwatcher, or simply the Church? I grimace. I wouldn't say I intend to, but I think it's absolutely going to happen regardless of my intentions. Then my skills will continue to be at your disposal, he nods. I look forward to helping you damage and destabilize your island's primary defenses. I blink at him. He does not blink back. Cool, I answer. Well, see you around, I guess. I turn and depart, Vitamin playing with my hair as she continues to ride my shoulders. He's funny, she says. He's something, I agree. At least he's helping people make better houses. Note to self, though, don't eat any more High Templars. We'll still need them for Iveric, so I'll have to make them Revenants instead. Theodora, to my surprise, is actually hanging out with Melissa. I guess Melissa is a different sort of slime to the kind she's had history with, but I'm still not totally sure what they could be doing together until I get there and hear the tail end of Theodora trying to convince the kid to let her cut pieces off. It's perfectly safe, Theodora sighs. We will need a sample large enough that some of your free-floating anima splits along with it to form a new oozoid, but it won't be anywhere near enough to cause you memory problems again. Your soul is almost entirely healed. I know, Melissa burbles back, her liquid hands quite expertly pretending to ring together nervously. But I'm not supposed to split, Ms. Theodora. I'm scared. It's okay to be scared, Theodora murmurs soothingly. But think of all the people you might be able to save. Will it really be saving them? Melissa asks. They'll be like me. Oh, Melissa, of course it will, Theodora insists. There's nothing wrong with you, Melissa. You're beautiful. We'll feed everyone properly, just like we're doing with you. No one is going to suffer through what you had to. We're not the Templars. Fuck yeah, we're not. Vitamin cheers, causing Theodora to look our way and absolutely light up with joy. Vita! She exclaims. It's so wonderful to see you. You have perfect timing, actually. Could you help me with Melissa, here? I nod. The potential for giving the souls stuck inside me their own bodies and consciousness back by using oozoids is just incredibly exciting. If Melissa refuses to bud off more animaverous oozoids for experimentation, I guess we could try to capture a wild one, but I'd rather get these things out of me ASAP. As nice as they are, if I'm going to be fighting High Templars I want them as far away from me as possible. If people don't like being oozoids, I can always just take their souls back out, I reassure Melissa. And either way, Penelope and I are working on getting you and everyone else living, human bodies. It would help us a ton if we can figure this out first, though. It's really, really important. Can you be brave for us? The young-hearted slime shrinks down a bit, but she nods confirmation. Ooh, this is so exciting. Vitamin cheers. Am I gonna get to see Penta again soon? Will I finally meet Big Sis and Jillian? That's the plan, I agree. It's gonna be a big, happy roo, Vita. A familiar voice snaps. I sigh, turning to look at Ultrix stomping towards us. Damn it Vita, you've been avoiding me since you got back. She yells at me. Do you mind? I ask her. I'm talking with my family, thank you. She flinches like I slapped her, a mixture of pain and rage twisting through her crafted soul. You absolute fucking bitch. Ultrix hisses. You know how we can't believe you grew up to be such a rude, selfish, little shithead. I blink with every physical eye, irritation creeping into me. I feel power start to cycle into Vitamin's limbs. Excuse me. I say dangerously. You heard me, Ultrix snaps. You're a rude, selfish shithead. You can feel how much we love you, and you think that means you can just treat us the way you do your mind-raped slaves. Hey now, Vitamin growls. You think you can just rake your fingers through our soul and not so much as apologize about it? You think you can just ignore the 6 years of your life that made you mean so much to us? We are your mother, and we more than anyone do not deserve this brazen disrespect from you. I already told you, I say evenly. I have a mother, and she is not you. I don't even remember you. So that means you can treat us like shit? We will not stand for it. Then leave. I snap. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry 2/3 of you were being a stubborn bitch and I had to get rough. It was sort of a life or death situation. As for your love, fuck it. I didn't ask for it. You think this is fun for me? All these fucking strangers coming into my life and saying they're important to me, when I don't have any damn clue who they are? First it was Capita, then ours, now you. Capita destroyed Skyhope. Ours is public enemy #1. What sort of awful, life-destroying piece of shit are you going to turn out to be, Ultrix? Every single thing I learn about my past is somehow worse than the last. I'm screaming by the end of my tirade, so I consciously shut up, trying to calm down before I hurt someone. I refuse to start crying again, either. I just got water all over Penelope's clothes a day ago. Even if you are my quote-unquote real mom, I continue more quietly, that just means I have all the more reason to hate you for putting me on the street. I despise the amount of raw sympathy and regret that pours out of Ultrix at my words. They hurt her more than anything in the world could have, and yet she still feels for me. I want to block it out, but my soul eye has no lid. I can't stop feeling her pain. We did everything we could, Ultrix eventually answers me, the memory haunting her. When the Inquisition took us away, we made sure you would be safe. Our relatives took you in. They were innocent. You were innocent. We don't know how you died. My eyes widen. What did you say? I ask. So you don't know either, Ultrix sighs. We thought at first it was on purpose. We thought you were just that way, and we never noticed when you were a child that you murdered someone for vanity. She spits the word, and I just get increasingly lost. What way? I ask. What are you talking about? I died. You must have, unless you changed yourself some other way, Ultrix answers. We'd never have recognized you, if not for your name and your little Roscoe. Your biomancer friend, maybe. I mean she changed me a little, I answer. Like, healthier skin and hair and stuff. Bigger boobs. I didn't ask for that, she just wanted to. And I'm, pretty sure she didn't kill anyone for it? So as far as you remember, you've always been like this? Ultrix presses. Always been like what? Ultrix sighs. So, now you're interested in your past? She grumbles. Ugh, fine. I snap, eyebrow twitching. Yes. I'm interested. Then listen to us, Vita, Ultrix demands. Before we were us, when only Nyx had memories of this body, ours put your soul inside our womb. Inside our child. We gave birth to you, Vita. And when we did, Ultrix stares intently at me, begging me to believe her. You were our son. Tobe continued. Thanks for listening.